Hi, this is Steve with digitalphotographygear.com, and today I'm going to talk a little about the Canon 70-200 f2.8L IS version 2. I have it here mounted on a 5D Mark II, and just to start, when you buy this lens, you'll of course get the lens itself. You also get the lens hood here, the ET87 lens hood, a tripod mount collar here, and they also give you a little nylon carrying bag, which is pretty nice. It has a zippered compartment, little Velcro tab, and it has a soft lining. So it's nice that they include it. I never really use it though because my lens is on the camera so often that I never feel the need to store it, but it's nice that they give that to you. So just to go over some of the physical features of this lens, it's pretty big and pretty heavy. It's a little over 3 pounds. So you wouldn't want to carry it around with you all day necessarily, but it's not unmanageable by any means, especially if you're using a camera strap that goes over your shoulder and chest. I certainly wouldn't want to carry this around on a camera with a regular old neck strap. So it's there's a lot of glass and it's all metal construction, so that accounts for all that weight. It's also weather sealed, so it's a little dust and water resistant, so you can use it in more demanding environments, which is also very nice. Gives you a little peace of mind as well. Starting at the back here is your standard EF mount that is on Canon's all of Canon's L lenses. It'll fit a full frame APS-H or APS-C sensor SLR from Canon, so it'll fit Canon's entire SLR range of cameras. And from there you have the tripod mount collar, which is nice. And to remove it from the lens, you do have to take the lens off the camera, but you just loosen the knob here, give it a little twist, and it comes right off like that. It has a series of pins here on the lens and a groove inside the collar, so when you put it on and you twist it into place, it's not going to slide up and down on the lens, but it will swivel side to side, which is actually a really nice feature because if you are using the collar mounted on a tripod, you just loosen the knob here like I was saying, and you can twist it from portrait to landscape mode really easily. You don't have to take it off the tripod or mess around with anything like that. It's pretty nice. And a couple lines here you can just line up and tighten it into place. The two rings here, the zoom ring and the focus ring, they both have a nice positive feel to them. They're very precise movement. There's not really any play in them. The zoom ring is a little more dampened than the focus ring, which is nice because if you brush something up against it pretty lightly, it's not going to creep on you or anything like that. But yeah, definitely both of them nice positive feel. The 4 switches on the side here each serve a different purpose. The first switch is for your minimum focus distance. Minimum focus distance for this lens is 1.2 meters compared to the version 1 was 1.4 meters. So with the version 2 you can get in a little bit tighter. It's nice. It has a redesigned optical system inside, and you can't really see it from the outside, but one of the things that it yields is a minimum focus shorter minimum focus distance. You can also set it at 2.5 meters if you know that you're not going to be shooting anything really up close. I usually just leave it at 1.2 meters and call it a day because you never know what's going to happen if you're going to want to shoot something up close. So the second switch is for AF or MF, autofocus or manual focus. This lens does have full-time manual focus override, so I just leave it on AF all the time and call it a day. The third switch here is for your image stabilization. You can turn it on or off. This lens has a 4-stop IS compared to the version 1's, which is 3 stops. So you can definitely get down to some slow shutter speeds with this lens in low light situations. I've shot pretty sharp images from 1/6, 1/8, 1/10 of a second. It's a very impressive IS system. And again, it is improved over the version 1's by 1 full stop, which is nice. And the fourth switch here is your stabilizer mode, mode 1 or mode 2. Mode 1 is for just regular old handheld shots of a static subject. It'll account for camera direction and multiple planes of movement. The mode 2 is for panning shots. so it limits the IS to one plane of motion. So if you're panning left to right, let's say a car or motorcycle, it'll account for camera shake going up and down, but if you're moving left to right, it will not account for that direction because that is, in fact, the direction you want the lens to move in. So that's nice that they have those two options. I don't do a whole lot of panning shots, so I tend to just keep it on mode 1. But if I were to do panning shots, I definitely move it on to mode 2. At the top here is the lens hood. It has a bayonet mount, so you just put it on, give it a twist, and it locks into place. It has this little button here which you press and then turn it. So it's pretty nice. It has a nice positive click when it locks into place. It's pretty sturdy, not going to go anywhere compared to some of the other bayonet hood mounts that you just twist it and you think it's on. It could be a little off kilter, but this one has a nice positive click when it gets into place. And at the very end here are standard 77mm filter threads, so you could attach any kind of filter that you want. So that's it for physical features of the lens. When it comes to image quality, it's very, very impressive. All the way throughout its entire zoom range from 70 to 200 millimeters, wide open to and throughout the entire aperture range, really sharp images. From the center of the frame to the edge of the frame, it's just, yeah, it's really great. It rivals even some of Canon's prime lenses. It's the image quality is really, really nice. Good color, good contrast, good bokeh. It has a curved 8-blade aperture design, so the out of focus regions are nice and smooth. In terms of the autofocus, is fast. It's accurate. It rarely misses focus, and yeah, it works really well on a camera with a more advanced autofocus system like a 7D or a 1D Mark IV. So that's really nice. Not a whole lot of distortion or vignetting either. Maybe a little bit of pin cushioning and vignetting towards the long end of 200, and maybe a little bit of barrel distortion on the short end, maybe 70 to 90 or 95 millimeters. There's a little bit of barrel distortion, but nothing unmanageable, and certainly nothing to really complain about, but there is a little bit there, so it's worth mentioning. Lens flare is controlled fairly well. The lens hood is really deep enough to control a lot of light coming in from the sides, but if you are shooting into a bright source of light, you are going to notice loss of contrast, and if the source of light is within the frame, you're definitely going to see some flare as well. But yeah, so chromatic aberration is also one of the things that this lens handles really, really well. It's virtually unnoticeable. I noticed maybe a little bit only at 100% crop, and even then it's very, very minimal. So this lens handles that really well. Yeah, so overall I can't say enough good things about this lens. All the photographers I've talked to can't say enough good things about it. It is big, like I mentioned. It is expensive. But if you're a professional or a serious hobbyist, or if you just plain have some money to burn, I would definitely recommend this lens. It has 2 enthusiastic thumbs up from me. So that is my review of the Canon 70-200 f2.8L IS version 2. And join me next time when I review some more gear on digitalphotographygear.com.